Hello. We're just going to really quickly go over some of the Maya interface and provide you with two tutorials just to kind of go over. They'll probably be about 5 or 10 minutes each. This is just so you can get acclimated to Maya. Its interfaces is pretty daunting software package, but we're going to keep it very, very simple. And hopefully when I come on Sunday, this is pretty straightforward with what we're going to be doing in class. All right, so one of the things I just turned this on and off. This is a channel box. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later on Sunday. So anyways, I just want to show you this interface, and we're going to go through several things and several key buttons that you'll probably need to know in Maya. So one of the first things is you'll definitely need a 3 mouse button. I've got one that's probably like $6 to $9. It's a plug-in USB, so you can get really cheap ones. You can also get a wireless 3 mouse button. This is key to kind of use this in perspective mode. So right now I'm holding down the Option, and on PC it could be Control or something like that, but on a Mac it's an Option key. And with the far right mouse button, I can zoom in and out. And if I hit Option and middle mouse button, I can oscillate. And if I hit Option and left, I can rotate. All right. I can always hit A, and it will kind of snap everything into that scene and also put the origin point in the center of the screen. All right. Okay. Again, just those 3 mouse buttons: Option, right, middle, and left. Okay. And you'll really need to kind of practice that so we can kind of swing around when we're modeling or rigging, and also prepping files to get into Unity. All right. So again, another hotkey that we're going to learn is Spacebar. So if I hit Spacebar once, it'll go from perspective to ortho to my top, front, and side view. So wherever my cursor is, if I hit Spacebar again, it'll go to the side view, front view, and I hit Spacebar again, it'll go to the top view. So really most of the time I spend 80% of my time in perspective, unless you're looking at a silhouette or something like that in a front view. Sometimes it's very helpful, especially with projection mapping and so forth. Or not projection mapping, but UV mapping. All right, so we have perspective, just kind of moving around the scene. All right, so let's go ahead and get started in what we can pull into this empty space and start modeling some forms. All right. So we're going to go ahead, right now we're in the modeling phase. We will get into maybe rendering when we do UV mapping, and ultimately at the end of our seminar we'll go into rigging, and we'll probably rig some sort of fish. So we're going to go into modeling, and we're just going to go to create, and we're going to do a polygon. And I'm going to go ahead, and these are tear off sheets. You can go up to the very top and tear that off. Just like in Photoshop or Illustrator, you have the tear offs. These are sometimes helpful. So I'm just going to click on, and you'll see a sphere. And so we're going to go over 3 more buttons: W, which is move, E is rotate, and R is scale. So just go ahead and hit W. I'm just going to go ahead and play around and hit E. We can rotate it. Now, rotating on a sphere is not that exciting because it's a sphere. And so we can also scale this up, and we can scale in different directions and so forth. So let's just spend a couple minutes. I want you guys to go ahead and just go through this whole list here and play around with W and E, rotate things, and R. Right? W, E, and R. All right, so this is universal on a Mac, PC, or even if you're on a Linux system. All right, here we go. So I'm going to do cylinder. Okay. Some of the cool things is when you create an object like this, let's just pull this off to the side. We can go over to a cylinder, and I can change the divisions to like 20. All right. Also the height you can change. So if you're wanting a specific size, like 1 inch or 1 centimeter, you can type that in. So right now divisions are 20 versus 40. And you can see we can do that in real time. We can also go over to that channel editor that we had turned off earlier, turn that back on. We can go in here and type in 100 in real time. All right, so that is very limited. You can do that very early on, but once we start modeling and so forth, you won't be able to have that functionality. All right, so this is just at the very beginning. All right, so I'm gonna do a torus, which is basically a donut, W, E, and R. Pull that over, and we're going to do a plane. Okay, same with the plane. You can go into a plane. Instead of a 5, we could do 30 by 30. All right, whoops. Oh, that was size. We can also do divisions also. 30 by 30. All right, so you can get really precise with this. Again, 30 by 30 inches, or if we had set in our parameters here, I'm going to really don't have to do this, but I'm going to show you in preferences. You can go into settings, and right now, when I say 30 by 30, it's doing 30 centimeters. So if we wanted to do inches, we would set that at the very beginning. That way, if we wanted to export this out and we wanted to do a 3D printing, we know this is going to be 30 inches by 30 inches. All right, so that is pretty straightforward. You can change your parameters here by clicking on here, creating these different shapes and so forth. All right, and also you can always go over here into our layer and change things also. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. Again, you're just getting used to really just what you guys are really comfortable with, the option button or alt button if you're on a PC. Right, rotate, middle, oscillate, and zoom in and out. That's really kind of what I'm interested in. And also that you know W, which is move, E, rotate, and scale. All right, so we're gonna just kill everything really quickly, and we're just gonna spend the next 3 minutes on modeling a chair. So if you guys really are good at the modeling of the chair, I think we're gonna be good once we get into modeling a fish. All right. So we're going to go ahead and squish this down, and that is with the R, and so we're going to have that R functionality where we can squish that square into that. All right, so this is going to get pretty complicated really quickly, but again, this is on a video, so you can take your time with it. All right, so I'm going to go right-click, make sure you're on Object. So this is one of the hotkeys. If I roll over the object and I right-click and hold, this brings up a hot box, and so this is a really quick way of getting into the Maya interface. So right-click, hold, and we're going to get it into object mode. You can say we can vertex, we can also get pace. So these are the 3 things that we're going to be jumping back and forth. So object mode is basically what it says, it's object. And so we're going to roll over this object again. Have to be completely over the surface with the cursor. I'm going to hold down my shift and right-click again and hold. Then you can see it's a different hot box. Almost the same keys other than I'm holding down shift, and we're going to hit insert edge loop tool. All right, so you're going to go in here and you're going to cut. All right, so you're adding more geometry. Okay, just like that. All right, so you can see my cursor is kind of this kind of weird diamond shape, and I don't want that. I actually want to go back to my selection tool. So if you could follow my cursor, we're going to go over here and roll over. You can see the select tool, and you can see the hot key is Q, but we can just go over here and click on that. All right, that way we're still not cutting when we go and hit this surface. So I'm going to right click, go back to object mode, and this is the start of our chair, believe it or not. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go again over our surface, right click and hold, and we're going to hit face. All right, so we're going to select these 4 corners. All right, and the way I did that, again, we're in face mode, and I hold shift, which allows me to select those 4 corners. Now if I don't hit shift, it'll just naturally select the next one and override the first one. So make sure you hold your shift, which will make that plus sign on your cursor. All right, so we want to extrude these faces and make our chair legs. So we're going to hold down shift, right click and hit extrude face. And we're going to go not to the blue box, which is basically scaling. We're going to go to the blue arrow here. And it may be a different color, it doesn't matter, you just want to go in a downward angle. So we're just going to pull down, those are our legs to our amazing chair. And so now we're going to go to face again, and we're going to make the back of the chair. Select these four, and hold down my shift, right click hold, extrude face. And we're going to do the same thing, we're going to pull this up. All right, pull this up again. All right, and I'm going to pull it back just like probably a natural chair would be like. All right, so we're going to go to object mode, and that's basically it. So one other thing I want to show is, so we've done object, and we've done face, extruding, and also we did the cutting. So basically that's all you really need to do to kind of make pretty interesting model. Okay, one of the last things I want to do is get into the vertex. So again, we're going to hold down right mouse button and go over here and go to vertex. All right, so you can see these little dots on the corners of these lines. These are vertex. And so we're going to, you can do marquee, and a marquee is this clicking and dragging, just like in Photoshop or Illustrator. You can click and drag. You can also just click on one at a time, but I want to kind of get to my side. Again, using my Alt and zooming around and rotating, I can kind of line myself up to these. All right, so I can hit W, and I just want to move those vertices so I can have complete control of that. So if I wanted a bucket seat, more of a curvature here, I can shift select and pull that back, more of a natural looking chair. We can also marquee this and make this a little bit more rounded instead of sharp, so it doesn't cut our legs, etc. All right, so we're going to probably stop here. I definitely want you to go ahead and practice maybe 3 different types of chairs. If you want to get a little bit more sophisticated, you can. You can go in here and again, go to object mode and shift and use that insert edge loop, and you can cut and do some more things with this design if you want. All right, so really just think about 4 of these, and if you wanted to duplicate this, hit W, we're in object mode, and I can hit Command D, or I can go up to Edit, Duplicate. Can't see where that is right here, so it's Command D. You can see that, and basically we can just hit Command D again, and so we can make a whole bunch of these chairs. All right, so I'm going to stop there. The next video, I'm going to bring in, I'm going to give you a file, a Maya file, so everything that you model does everything in symmetry. So I'm actually going to just kind of do a very simple goldfish or form like that. All right, one other thing I wanted to show you was, again, A, we'll snap it, the whole scene into one area. And let's say we were working on this corner of this chair. Again, right click, hold, vertex, and I wanted to make this the center point. So we can hit F as in Frank, and that will bring whatever you have selected into the center of the origin point, okay? So when you rotate it, it's very simple. All right, so I'm gonna upload this now. Again, this is your homework before Sunday, is to learn this tutorial. The next one will probably be a good 10 minutes, 15 minutes just to model a really simple fish to get some ideas on how to use symmetry box building in Maya. All right, looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.